Hello! Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. This is Manang Lucy of Baguio Chronicle coming to you in our new podcast series entitled The Law Will Get You Through. So, alam niyo na siguro, you can guess that this podcast will be basically focusing on legal issues in the Philippines with focus on current events, laws, landmark court cases, and real-world impact on our society. So with me and in the succeeding shows is my co-host, Attorney Emily Balongay. Attorney, would you like to say something more about yourself?
Yes, a pleasant day to all our viewers. And we welcome you to this new podcast entitled The Law Will Get You Through.
So, eto pong bagong podcast natin ay ang pangunahing layunin or the objective of this podcast is to help you, kayo pong listeners and viewers, to have a better understanding of the Philippine laws and how they affect your everyday lives.
Yes, because pag pinag-uusapan kasi natin, pag usapang legal, parang napaka-heavy, napaka-formal, parang nakakatakot. But we will try to simplify the laws as much as we can para po sa ating benefit, lahat ng ating mga tagapanood.
Tayo rin ho ay gustong maka-engage, ano? We would like to foster discussions around important legal and social issues, empowering listeners to engage with civic life and advocacy. So tayo po'y mag-usap tungkol sa mga batas na yan para tayo lalong matuto at tayo hindi tatandang mangmang.
Yes.
Okay.
With this podcast, actually, we would like to bridge the gap. We want to connect the policymakers, the lawyers, the public by offering an open forum for legal discourse. Ang aming pong target audience would be the general public because we want to share with you newly promulgated laws, the landmark cases, para po sa ganun ay ma-educate po tayo sa ating mga karapatan. Okay? Ano yung mga karapatan natin at kung ano naman yung mga duties natin. Kung minsan kasi Manang Lucy, ang mga tao, we want so much of our rights but we forget that we also have duties to
So
perform.
it's always a two-sided coin.
Yes.
So for every right that we have, we also have responsibilities.
Yes.
Ito'y para rin sa mga nag-aaral ng abogasya, no? So law
Correct.
students, also young lawyers who are seeking to deepen their knowledge of Philippine legal developments and practical applications.
As well as journalists and some of our media practitioners because from time to time when they go to the fields, they are also being asked some legal questions. So it would help if they could also learn from our discussions in this podcast.
So ano nga ba yung pwede nating pag-usapan dito, attorney? What are the potential topics or ano ba yung magiging focus natin na pwedeng pag-usapan in the succeeding podcast?
Yes, since our target it would be the general public, we would be discussing some laws relative to family issues, to marriage. Marami kasing nagtatanong, ano bang kaibahan ng annulment nullity, ng legal separation, yung mga ganyan. So, ito po yung mga pag-uusapan natin, yung mga nagtatanong dyan na kung kami mag-asawa at hindi na kami nagkakaigihan, then pwede ba kaming mag-agree na lang at maghiwalay? Anyway, kung gagawa kami ng mga written agreement, pwede ba yon? May mga ganang katanungan. So, we will be discussing these things in line with our existing constitutional provisions as well as provisions in the family code.
Sa mga nagtatrabaho naman o mga employees, pag-uusapan din ho natin yung mga labor rights na sinasabi, no? So we will be discussing the rights of not only our employees who are working in country, kasama nila rin po sa marami nating mga unsung heroes, di ba,
Yes.
attorney? Yung mga ating OFW na malaki ang sakripisyo para lang may maiuwi sa kanilang mga pamilya.
True.
So most of the time actually sila yung nabibiktima because of probably wala silang access sa legal advice.
Yes.
O dahil din, syempre, kakulangan ng kaalaman tungkol sa kanilang mga karapatan.
Like, meron yung mga nag-abroad na airport to airport na lang, mga ganyan. So, how can they, what is their remedy pag sila po ay mga biktima ng mga illegal recruitment, mga ganyan. So, we will also be tackling laws on this. And also, when we talk about labor issues, karamihan dyan, may mga illegal dismissal. So, is the employee indeed illegally dismissed or he or she was legally dismissed? So, mga ganito, titingnan din po natin yon. And also, one important topic no sa ating kasalukuyang henerasyon ngayon is yung usapin sa gender and equality. Okay, we want to explain the RA 9262, the violence against women and their children. We also have the Safe Spaces Act or the Bawal Bastos Law. And we have a lot of emerging gender rights laws na yun yung pwede nating pag-usapan dito. Also, yung mga cases natin sa cybercrime with our society now na ang mga tao ay mga quote-unquote mga netizens. We all have our social media accounts, no? So, kailangan alam din natin yung proper na pagmamanage natin ng ating mga social media accounts. Included here in our topic for cybercrime would be cyberbullying. Okay, may mga ganito po, yung mga Data Privacy Act, increasing digital society.
Yes, exactly, attorney. Ano ho kasi yan eh. Ito yung nababago sa ating landscape, sa ating consumption ng information ngayon ay nabago na because of the new technologies.
Yes.
And with that, kagaya ng anything new, pwedeng maraming magandang idinudulot sa atin, pero may kakambal din na mga risk or challenges. Like yan na nga na nabanggit natin na nagiging uso ngayon yung cyberbullying.
Yes.
So what are the legal remedies that victims can
Could resort to.
could resort to. So isa pa, attorney, kasi andito tayo sa Cordillera region. Maganda rin na ipaalam natin or we will help our viewers and listeners understand kung ano yung mga karapatan ng mga indigenous peoples.
Yes.
Marami po tayong mga kaibigan in the NGO community who focus on this. So sila po yung pwede nating isama po sa ating mga susunod na podcast.
So, pag-usapan natin dyan
Discuss this.
IPRA law.
Yeah.
We can also invite our lawyer friends from NCIP to discuss on this IPRA law, the ancestral domains, mga ganyan. We will also try to discuss that here in our podcast. Kasi nasa Cordillera tayo eh. So, dapat malaman ng mga kapwa natin, mga taga Cordillera, kung ano nga ba ang mga karapatan nila pagdating sa mga ancestral land domains nila.
This is very close to my heart actually, attorney, kasi I'm also an IP. May dugong Ibaloy po ako. So, there are things that I didn't know growing up. But with my engagement with IP NGOs focusing on IP issues, mas nakikita ko yung mga abusong dinaanan ng mga ninuno natin. In fact, di ba, yung recently we celebrated Baguio Day, but it was good to look back in the history na nakita natin na kung paano nawalan ng karapatan yung mga ninuno natin sa Baguio, who were the first settlers. So, that would be very interesting. So, mga contemporary legal issues, mga emerging issues with the changing landscape in the information industry, at saka mga mga historical or legacy issues that are still impacting on our lives as residents of this community.
Yeah, and one very hot issue now, no, maraming tumatawag sa akin na namumroblema sila dahil ang nangyayari ngayon, and I believe that we all experience this, no? Maraming nagtitext sa atin na kung gusto nating mag-loan ng this amount, with this very low interest, mga ganyan. And then, yung iba, dahil nga sa kagipitan, sabi natin, kung ikaw ay gipit, kapit sa patalim. So, yung mga kapwa Pilipino natin, marami yung kumakagat dyan. But later on, they are experiencing a problem because hinahabol sila at patong-patong yung mga interest, ganyan. And ang isang nangyayari kasi dyan, which causes a big problem is, automatic renewal daw yung kanilang mga loans, even if they are not amenable to it. So sabi ko, may ganun ba? Okay, so sabi nung mga kliyente na ganun nga, nandoon sa ganung problema ay ganun daw yung ginagawa, no, ng mga nagpapaloan na ito. So we will also try to look into this kung are this legal, yung mga nagpapautang online, mga ganyan, and then dapat meron din tayo legal standard para mabalance yung right ng mga nagpapaloan at saka yung mga umuutang din naman para hindi sila nababaon. And kung hindi kasi sila makabayad, no, itong mga nagpapaloan na ito, they are haunting them because they
And
are shaming them in online, no?
Oo.
And then they are contacting the relatives, the friends, at sinisiraan sila mga ganyan. So, we would also try to look into these things because you are lucky if you are not a victim, but for those who are victims of this, hindi na nga sila nakakatulong. Meron pang nagsabi sa akin na gusto na daw niyang magpakamatay dahil nga tinatakot siya, ipapadagkip siya, ipapadampot, yung mga ganyan. So,
At saka kahihiyan din nararanasan nila because of the
yes.
the shaming that is being made online.
Yeah, so that
Oo.
you just imagine the emotional turmoil that they will have to go through. Okay, aside from that, in this podcast, we would also like to elevate a public legal understanding while positioning the newspaper as a thought leader in Philippine legal journalism. So, makikita nyo po, we have our print, the Baguio Chronicle. Okay, and weekly po ang ating issue niyan. And then, meron din, and I'm one of the columnists in my column, The Law Will Get You Through. At marami tayong mga kasamahan na iba, ng mga writers natin dito sa print na ito. And now, we are also having this podcast.
Yes. So again, ulitin natin, etong podcast na to ay lalabas kada Sabado ng gabi, starting at 9,
Yes.
9 to 9:30. Siguro pag live telecast na, it can be longer, depende ho sa interaction. So ito po ay pagkakataon na sana'y you will take advantage of by interacting with us. Send in your questions.
Yeah.
And then if there are also topics that you would like us to discuss in the next podcast, pwede ho kayong mag-comment.
Yes.
At isend po ninyo yung comment na yan para kami po ay mabigyan ng pansin ang mga gusto nyong pag-usapan. Kasi gusto naming manatiling relevant ang information na i-share sa inyo.
That is
So-
also one of the reason, no, why we opted to have a podcast because although we have the Baguio Chronicle newspaper which is regularly released, we understand na may mga ibang tao kasing nagtatanong kung gusto daw nilang maki-interact, hindi nga naman kayo pwedeng maki-interact doon sa newspaper not unless
Yeah.
you will write the editor-in-chief.
Yeah.
So, unlike the podcast na while we are discussing and you want to give some inputs or you want to ask questions, then you are free to do so, especially when we will also already have this on live because we intend to have it live eventually.
So, yan po. So, with this is your Manang Lucy of Baguio Chronicle. And with me is...
I'm attorney Emily Balungay. So, we have this podcast for you. The Law Will Get You Through in partnership with the Baguio Chronicle because we know that everyone has the right to know the law. A pleasant day, everyone.